let's start with a crazy topic. Like I had all this planned, and then all of a sudden I start talking to you, and we're just hopping right into it. But let's talk about how difficult it is to make a 53-man roster.
That's very fitting for the day. Yeah, roster cuts were
Yeah,
yesterday, and I got like 9 calls. That was like, damn, Cici, like I didn't realize that when you were talking to us about during like the draft prep process, that when you were talking to us about how cold this business would be, and that it's less of like a talent gap issue and more of like, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to endure? How good of a personality do you have? How well do you get along with everybody else? Like, and we've talked about this before, but I don't think anybody realizes like those 3 main factors of actually making that team is like 1, opportunity, 2, timing, and 3, availability. And I actually saw like a former NFL guy who was in the league for like 6 years, and he was talking about that. And, I'm reading all the comments, and you have, Bucks lover 1985 over there talking about, oh, these players are bad. And I'm looking at the 53 that he's referring to, and I'm like, none of those players are bad. All those players that
yeah,
are on that list are like the top 1%. If you make it to a tryout, you're an elite athlete. If you make it to any workout, if you get called out, if you make it to a mini camp, you are absolutely elite, and talent is not the question. It's like,
100%.
okay, it's like you get down to off season, and especially like, I don't know, especially for rookies, I think that we were discussing that too. Like that path is so crazy, and once you get from a big 90-man roster during training camp, and then you get to the last preseason game, and you're looking around like, okay, 53 of us are going to be active, and there's another maybe 16 that get a chance to practice with everybody. That's a
Yeah,
huge freaking difference. That's a huge difference. Like, and
yeah,
and I don't think guys realize the path or the work, or more so just the IQ of everything. Like, not just, and that's football IQ, but that's also like gauging the team and the operations that you're under, and like how well do you get along with the quarterback, or how well do you get along with everybody else in the skill group. So I think there's so many factors that a lot of the guys don't consider before they get there, and they're just like, oh, I need to play my ass off. Like, you playing
no,
your ass off is
100%.
bare minimum. Bare minimum is playing your ass off.
100%. Like I'm looking at this list. Hunter Renfro cut. Chicago
Isaiah
Bears,
Simmons
Tyler Scott,
cut.
Isaiah Simmons. Um, we have a guy, Trayshawn Holden, that should be a starter cut. And I'm pretty sure he will be a starter this year. I can almost promise that. He's a dog. We got, let's see, Kansas City Chiefs, Mike Edwards, safety, Tony Jefferson at safety from the Chargers. Yeah, former
And if
first
you
round
look at those
picks,
guys too, yeah, you have former first round picks. You have guys that absolutely killed the preseason, which like
killed
we
it.
normal pedestrians, even guys that are on the team, regular civilians, doesn't matter. We're looking at this preseason like, oh, holy shit, this is the time for them to prove exactly what they just proved. And they did, and they balled,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
still just almost isn't quite enough.
Like Hendon Hooker balled out, which is wild. Clyde
Balled
Clyde
out.
Edwards-Helaire, that was wild. Balled out. He's
Cam
gone.
Akers,
Robert
like, it
Woods.
doesn't, it's not, it's like I said, talent is never the question when you even get the opportunity to make it into the NFL. Talent gets you
Yeah.
in the door.
Yeah, so like I mean there's a couple sides to it because you got the political side of the football, which we understand a little bit, but not to the level of some of these analysts and everything. But from a physical standpoint, like just making it through training camp healthy is extremely hard because you have the NFL Combine, but that takes you to March, And then from March until the draft, you have workouts. So basically, you might be at your team, you might be at home. Like you're not in the same environment that you were just in. And I was just talking about this with Danny. By the way, agents, love y'all to death, but like that period post combine is just as important as the pre combine. So like we'll talk about that in a second. But you basically go from this incredibly structured, systemized like training program where you have nutrition, you have strength, you have speed, you have skill training, you have a schedule, and then you go to pretty much nothing. So you might still have workouts and stuff, but like it's not the same structure. After you get to the draft, a couple of days after the draft, you head to your team as a rookie, and you're the man. You're the new guy drafted, or the new guy signed, and you're getting love, and you're like, oh, for sure, I'm making this 53-man roster. So you go through rookie OTAs, then you go through OTAs, then you hit minicamp. When minicamp ends, you have 6 weeks. So during those 6 weeks, a lot of guys are like, this is the first break that I've had. Like
Since
I
their
haven't
last
had
college game.
since their last college game. But if you think back from there, you have the college season, then you have fall camp, then you have summer training, and you go all the way back and you think, what was the last time I had 3 days off? It was probably July 4th the year before, because
Yep.
most guys get July 4th off, right? So you're looking at like July 2nd to 5th was the last in 2024 was the last time these rookies got a break. So what do most guys do? Well, they take a break. And then all of a sudden training camp hits and a lot of these guys pop up and they can't make it through training camp. And on the other end, you got guys like, I know you're working with T-Mac, who did everything. Like the dude's ready to be a day one starter and probably did too much, which, is relative. Like we can't say for sure if that was too much or too little, but I mean, the guy's going to be a day one starter. I think that aspect of things complicates this whole making a 53-man roster even more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think it's a little bit different for rookies and vets. Like, I think that some can get away with different things. And then you have like exceptions to the rule, like T-Mac. Like, you have guys that they played, if they were good, they played every single down that they could in their college career. And then you get to your last college game, which is later and later every year. I mean, if you're really good, you're playing until end of January. Like
Which
you are
is
not
wild. January
starting.
20.
You are not starting. I mean, we had guys that we had already had other guys that were there for 3 weeks, and we had other guys coming in. It's like if you only have an 8-week training cycle to get these guys in, and that's totally different too. Like the 8-week process, less than anything else, is so mental, because you, and especially as speed coaches specifically, like we have 8 weeks to physically, our only goal is to shave time off of one event. That's it.
Right.
That's it. Like there's one train, and keep guys healthy, and then shave time off of four seconds of one event in the
Right.
most important event of their career. Like that's a totally
It's
different
wild.
training cycle.
It's wild. And like, well, look at the calendar. So January 20 was national championship. January 27 was Senior Bowl. And then from there, like you basically have what, 3.5, 4 weeks to combine. So it's tough. I mean, the college landscape, the thing is the combine's not going to shift dates. It
Right.
can't, because of the way free agency is and all these other aspects the NFL has to get by. So like NFL's their mindset's like, dude, like you're either fast or you're not. Like if you're fast, you're gonna show up and run fast. And that's not really how it works, but that's the way they think. So it doesn't matter. Like the training aspect is in fact like whatever. And we talked about this with Danny yesterday, where the performance aspects of training for the combine actually don't really impact your health in a positive way. Like in fact, it probably does the opposite, unless you take an approach that integrates health and performance. Now, like I'll be super transparent on here from a business perspective. It doesn't help us because of how much time and money we invest into the health side of it. It ends up not being like the best business practice. But from an ethics standpoint, these guys are entering the league the only thing you could really help these dudes with in long term is to help them save some mileage on their body by protecting them in whatever way you can. So like that becomes a focus. But the NFL doesn't share that same value. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I think that them, and I don't, and it comes from like the top down, but I think if you get to a team and say, okay, so say you're a rookie, you get to a team for, a tryout or a workout or whatever, and you make it. Great. Now you're starting mini camp with them. Okay, so say you're a rookie, you start mini camp, you ball out, then you get hurt right there. They don't care. They might pay for your PT for 2 to 3 days a week, but they don't care. Now they're not only now you're gone, and now in 2 weeks they have to cut top vets who have been there and performed and can still perform, just to bring in a guy who's 21 years old and maybe has, a little bit more mileage. And maybe he doesn't pan out. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's how do you balance health, talent, and availability and opportunity? Like it's so hard
Yeah.
on that scale. And just from a mental standpoint, for a lot of these guys, it's like they before this point they've just been playing football. That's it. They've been playing football, and
Mm.
that's how it should be. And they've been having fun. You get to the NFL, respectfully, you're living out your literal dream, but it's not fun anymore. That's your livelihood. And maybe
Yeah.
you move your family out for 2 weeks and you're gone. Like it's cold. It's cold.
Yeah. And that's, I think that's the piece that is really difficult. We're getting better at now that I'm like a parent, but it's really difficult to explain that to guys in the beginning because they feel like you're just being negative and they feel like, oh, you don't believe in me. It's like, no, like we're trying to tell you the truth. Like when we said, hey, like being on time is important, and then, you know, we build that habit within our group, and then all those guys show up on time and they see the other rookies showing up late. They're like, oh damn, all right, appreciate you, coach. Like just that little thing helped. But it you
Yeah.
magnify, everything else is magnified. So personality, how you respond to criticism, how you respond to stress, all those things that are pieces that you build into your combine program in terms of like learning modules for the guys, because those are things they're going to experience. And guys don't really realize initially how different it is in college. Because in college, it's like if you're the best player, you play because they have to win. But in the NFL, there's so many more factors to it outside of
And
just being the best player.
yeah.
It's like where were you drafted?
And
How much money were
and
you
any
guaranteed?
everyone's the best player now. Like
Everybody.
that's I mean, it's a difference, like from high school to college to NFL. You take a guy who he played every down, he was the fastest guy, the strongest guy. Okay, well, now you get to the NFL, everybody's faster than you, everybody's stronger than you, and now what else can you bring to the table?
Yeah, it's
It's
wild.
a different skill set.
Yeah, absolutely.